After a very action-packed weekend at the Nürburgring, we find ourselves at Estoril this time around for the second meeting of the 2014 FF2M season here in Portugal. I'm your FF2M commentator, Joseph Willows, yet again commentating for FF2M, and we are here, as mentioned, in Estoril for the feature and sprint races here in Portugal. Last time out, when we were at the Nürburgring, we had two different winners. Asuki Yoshida taking the victory in the feature race for AJ, leading number 1-2 ahead of Gencho Chi, and in the sprint race, Thomas Gonzalez was able to get redemption after losing the feature race win at the Nürburgring and took the sprint race win for Spaniel after what was a very exciting last few laps with him overtaking the Willowsers. So we arrive here at Estoril for the next two races of the 2014 FF2M season, and hopefully we should have another very exciting weekend ahead of us here in Portugal. Here's the layout of the circuit. It's never been used before in FF2M, so this is a brand new circuit. From memory, this will be the 1993 layout that we are using of Estoril, as I believe there isn't actually a chicane version of Estoril on Grand Prix 4, which is quite surprising for me, but we will have 39 laps of action here at the feature race, and then of course when we get to the sprint race we'll have 16 laps, so same laps as what it was at the Nürburgring last time out. So hopefully we get a gate view of the circuit from a downward camera, it must be said, heading down towards the first corner. But anyway, here's the grid then for the feature race here at Estoril. Cooper Lee is on pole position for the first time this season, with Thomas Gonzalez, the championship leader, in second. Max Verstappen will start in third, with Asuki Yoshida fourth. Esteban Ocon starts in fifth, with Fabio Lima in sixth. Shell Pick seventh, Marcus Ericsson in eighth, with Stoffel Van Dorn ninth, and Tulio Felix da Costa in 10th, followed by Alexander Rossi 11th, Felipe Nasr in 12th, Gencho Chi will start in 13th, with Pascal Wehrlein in 14th, Max Chilton will start in 15th, with Daniel Kvyat 16th, Pierre Gasly in 17th, Sergei Sorokin will start in 18th, Benjamin Pryor starts in 19th, the man who will make his debut after Jolyon Palmer got himself sacked from STV Racing after contact with teammate Max Chilton at the Nürburgring. Nicholas Latifi starts in 20th, with Naoki Yamamoto in 21st, and Will Stevens in 22nd position. So yes, as I mentioned earlier, STV Racing's team boss, James Brickles, after a nightmare feature race at the Nürburgring, decided to sack Jolyon Palmer after the race, which meant that as a result, we see Benjamin Pryor now for STV Racing alongside Max Chilton. James Brickles has given Max a chance to prove himself, considering he is new, so no real pressure there for the Brit indeed. But we now find ourselves on the grid now then, as the 5 lights now come on. And we are underway for the feature race here at Estoril, and it seems to be an okay start for Cooper Lee. It seemed like Gonzalez got a better start, but I don't know if Cooper Lee's going to hang it on down towards the first corner. It's a downhill run towards the first two corners on the track now then, as side by side they go. Verstappen's actually made quite a good start. Verstappen on the inside, is he going to get the move done on Lee? Gonzalez has had a terrible start, he's down to 6th, and Verstappen leads. Max Verstappen leads here in the feature race as Ocon gets himself out to the second, and there's contact at the back. It's one of the AJs that's gone off, and one of the Spaniels as well, and I believe it's Thomas Gonzalez who's at the spin, because Gonzalez is no longer in the top 8. I believe that Gonzalez has got himself involved in a collision down at turn number 3, and well, what a shame for him. He was leading the championship going into this race, and that's not going to do him any favours. I'll be interested to see which AJ was he hit as Cooper Lee tries to make himself around the outside of Esteban Ocon now then, as they've also got Fabio Lima behind for company, Da Costa and Ericsson behind, squabbling for 5th place. Ocon holds on as Lima goes up to 3rd, as Cooper Lee defends from Da Costa. There's contact there. Cooper Lee pushed a little bit wide. Will Da Costa go through there? And he will do, up into 4th, and so does Ericsson. Ericsson gets himself up into 5th place, so a terrible start from the pole sitter Cooper Lee. So let's have a look at the replay of what happened with Thomas Gonzalez, of course, because he went off at turn number 3. Again, I'll be interested to see which AJ he was he collected. So going through the first corner, it looked like he had an initial getaway better than Gonzalez, but you see there, Verstappen, Ocon, and even his teammate Fabio Lima just sweeped through there, as did Da Costa on the right hand side. Oh, sorry, that's not Da Costa, that's Yoshida, his rival going into this race. Now, was it Yoshida he actually hit? It might be actually, because I didn't see Yoshida in top 8, and yes, it was. There was contact between the top 2 in the championship, and they've both gone off the track. That is a complete disaster for both the top 2 in the championship, Gonzalez and Yoshida, and well, both the AJ and Spaniel camps will not be happy indeed, as there was further contact behind. That was I believe Pierre Gasly, who's just spun off there at the first corner. It was Gasly. He just hit the back of someone, and he also took Pascal Wehrlein with him as well. He also spun at the first corner. So a lot of drama going on in the first lap as Max Verstappen completes the first lap of 39 here at Estoril. Meantime, in the background, you could just about see there, yes, Ocon having to defend now from Fabio Lima, who's on the inside. The Asia champion on the inside of the Frenchman, and he takes second place with ease. Up into second place goes the Swiss drivers. Ericsson gets by onto Costa, and also you could just about see there Rossi gets by on Lee. Meantime, we look at Gencho Chi going through the first corner. He's locked up. He's gone onto the gravel and he's out. He's crashed out of the race, and Gencho Chi is out as somebody's lost their front wing, I believe. I think somebody's lost their front wing. Yes, they have. I can't quite tell who that is. It's Danny Kvyat who's lost his front wing. There's a little bit more carnage going on behind as well. A lot of sliding around. And, well, here's Rossi now. In the meantime, he's getting by on Da Costa. This is Kvyat's teammate, obviously, coming out of turn 2, and he takes 5th place from the Portuguese driver. Now Vandon will like a piece of Da Costa. Meantime, we've now got a battle for the lead brewing in this race. It's between Verstappen and Lima now then as they make their way through the second to last corner. Now into, oddly enough, the Parabolica as this is called. I'm surprised that Monza hasn't sued Portugal for that, to be quite honest with you. But coming out of Parabolica we go now then. Down at the pit straight, Lima on the slipstream of Verstappen. Is he going to get the move done on the teenage Dutchman? Danny inside goes to Spaniel. Is this going to be the lead for the Asia champion? Side by side they go, and yes it is. Fabio Lima takes the lead of the feature race here at Estoril. A fantastic drive from Lima it is so far in this race. As meantime now Cooper Lee on the inside of Da Costa. Is he going to get 7th place? And yes he is. Up into 7th place goes the Australian. He passed the Portuguese driver, and now Da Costa only finds himself in 7th place actually. Cooper Lee get up to 6th. I do apologise for that. Now we look at one of the Willows. This is, I believe, Stoffel Vandon, and he's gone off the track. Can he keep it? Oh, the barriers. No, he can't. It is Vandon that's gone off the track. Has he got any damage? I can't quite tell. I don't think he has. I think he's been able to just survive. Now, meantime, we look at Max Chilton now. He's on the back of Pick. Remember, he's got a lot of pressure running on his shoulders after what happened between him and former teammate Jolyon Palmer, and he gets up into the final points place. Chilton up into 8th place ahead of Pick now then, so he's making the move right there and there. As meantime, now we look at Alexander Rossi now. He's on the inside of Marcus Ericsson. Is he going to try and take 4th place from the Swede heading down towards the first corner now then? And yes, he is. The American gets up into 4th position. Next target for him is the Willows of Esteban Ocon in front. As speaking of Ocon, he's now actually on the back of Verstappen. In fact, Lima, look at that. He's got over a 6-second lead now on Max Verstappen. Lima is absolutely flying in this race. The Swiss driver doing wonders, showing why he is the Asia champion. As now, down the inside now goes Esteban Ocon. Up to 7 seconds now between Lima and Verstappen. Ocon on the inside of Verstappen, and that's P2 for the Frenchman. Up into 2nd place goes Esteban Ocon. He gets the move done, and now does he have enough pace to catch up to Lima? I'm not sure. No, he doesn't, because Lima is still continuing to extend the gap to 7.9 as now Rossi takes 3rd place for Verstappen as he's gone straight on. Verstappen's off at the first corner. He's lucky not to get any damage from that, but Verstappen has cost himself a chance of some good points here today, and well, he's now out of the points, and that's a costly error for Max Verstappen. In meantime, we've got 3 wide going into the first corner. Yoshida, Wehrlein, and oh my goodness me, we've got a huge crash. We've got a huge crash. That's Sergei Sorokin. He's gone over. Sergei Sorokin has gone over after contact with Wehrlein and Gencho Chi. So as you see replay there, Chi clips the back of Wehrlein. Wehrlein loses control, and Sergei Sorokin was just a passenger in that one. And Wehrlein is also out of the race. So we've had 3 retirements now in this feature race. A huge accident for Sergei Sorokin. I hope he's okay after that accident, because that looked very nasty indeed. Now, we take a look at Alexander Rossi now then. Let's take our attention back to the race. Rossi now then on the back of Esteban Ocon as he now tries to take 2nd place from the French driver now then. Rossi on the inside. Can he get the move done on Esteban Ocon? Side by side go the pair of them into the first corner. Is this going to be P2 for the American? No, he didn't. Rossi locks up. Can he just about keep it on the track? Yes, he is. Ocon very lucky there. He didn't lose a place thanks to Rossi clearly overcooking it going into the first corner now then. Now, I think we're looking at, is this Da Costa we're looking at? I'm not 100% sure who we're running on board with. I did miss the name. No, it's Verstappen. It's his teammate actually. He gets himself up into 16th position. As meantime, we look at the new STV racing driver, Benjamin Pryor, who's now getting himself into the points. He's now past Pick, and up into 8th place goes the Welshman. He's doing a very good job in his debut STV racing, probably with a bit more of a smile on their face after what was a disastrous weekend at the Nürburgring. Meantime, we now look at Stoffel Vandon. He's trying to make amends after what happened to him at the first corner. He's now trying to pass one of the Lavazza cars now then down into the first corner, and he takes 16th with ease. I presume that was Latifi he just got past there, as now we look at race leader Fabio Lima, who's just made his mandatory pit stop now then. So we're now at the mandatory pit stop stage of the race. Let's see where Lima is going to come out. A 6.1 second stop for the Swiss driver, and he comes out in about 4th position, just in front of Da Costa and Chilton. Chilton will probably be thanking Lima there, because it means, because of the little hold up there he's just given to Da Costa, Chilton can now try and catch up to Da Costa. As meantime, we look at Van Dorn, who's continuing his comeback, as he's now on the inside of Max Verstappen, oddly enough. Down the inside goes Van Dorn, and through into 15th goes the Willows Racing driver. So Van Dorn on the move now then, as now we look at Fabio Lima, who's not wasting any time whatsoever as he gets the move done on Cooper Lee into the first corner there then. Lima, as mentioned, not wasting any time whatsoever. Max Chilton has just come into the pit, as now we look at Alexander Rossi, as there's 3 cars battling, and that's a beautiful move from Rossi. He takes 2 positions in the space of 1. Up into 7th place he goes, passing Gonzalez, and I presume that was Charles Pic as well. Up into 7th place he goes. In the meantime, now we look at Rossi, who's continuing the overtakes. He's now on the inside of Benjamin Pryor, and he makes himself up into 6th position. Rossi being an overtake machine at this point in the race, as now his next target will be Antonio Felix da Costa. As we look at Fabio Lima, it looks like his teammate is pitting this lap, he's got a red indicator, but he's now right on the back of Ocon. He's already caught him up already. I don't think Ocon has made a pit stop yet. It shows how dominant Lima has been in this feature race. Down the inside he goes, and into the lead, back into the lead of the race goes Fabio Lima. As you just saw in the background there, as you can see now on your screen, Marcus Ericsson has just come into the pits himself in that beautiful BWT livery, as Rossi now makes his way through on Da Costa and takes 4th place with ease. Looking at Van Dorn, he's continuing his comeback now in the Willows Racing car. Can he get 12th position this time by into the first corner? He's braking later, and yes he is. Van Dorn up into 12th position. The comeback is really on for the Belgian. As speaking of Willows Racing cars, his teammate Esteban Ocon has finally come into the pits for his mandatory pit stop, but it just shows how much pace Lima has got, because he's going to have an enormous lead by the time that Ocon has come out of his box. He's got 6.9 second stop, and out on track he goes. He joins behind a battling Ericsson and Chilton there. Ericsson just making his way through there on Chilton into 6th position. Pic, Da Costa and Lee, the only guys who are still yet to make a mandatory pit stop. If you take a look at a replay there of Marcus Ericsson making the move on Chilton there to get himself up into 6th position. Next target for him is Charles Pic. I'll be wondering to see if he'll actually battle him quite hard, considering that Pic is still yet to make a stop. Or in fact, Pic has gone wide there. Will Ericsson just poke his way through, going into the 4th corner now then? He's trying to go hanging around the outside of Charles Pic. It is going to be P5 now then for Marcus Ericsson, and yes it is. Up into P5 goes the Swede, as now Chilton and Ocon fancy their chances as they make their way down towards the left-hander, coming out that right-hander. King, and there's contact between Pic and Chilton spun. Chilton has spun. He's clipped the back of Pic. Ocon takes advantage, takes a pair of them to get up into 6th, and I think Pic might have survived that, as now we take a look at, I believe this is this Thomas Gonzalez we're looking at? I believe it is, because Lima's in the lead, so Gonzalez picks up another place, as now we look at, off the track goes Chilton, and Chilton has lost his rear wing. Max Chilton, I believe this is, unless it's Benjamin Pryor, I'm not sure which one it is, has lost their rear wing, and that is a disaster for them indeed. I believe it was Pryor, because Chilton is still in 7th place, as now we look at Max Verstappen now then on the inside of Thomas Gonzalez. It is going to be P8 for Verstappen. Well, is it Gonzalez? Oh, no, in fact it's actually Lima who's just unlapped himself, so that's quite strange, that is. Verstappen unlapping himself there, as me and I here is Gonzalez. He's now making the move now on Chilton, who's gone off. Chilton has gone off the track, and luckily he just avoids the wall, so it was Benjamin Pryor that lost his rear wing a little bit earlier on. I do apologise. The debutant not having a good start to his debut in FF2M, as Ocon on the inside of Ericsson, and he takes the final podium place off the Swede now then. Now can he go on the attack and try and catch up to Alexander Rossi, as we now look at Cooper Lee now, who's on the back of championship leader Thomas Gonzalez. Gonzalez defending the inside, and there's contact between Lee and Gonzalez. Cooper Lee goes around into the gravel. I think Gonzalez might have just got away with it, because he's still in 5th place, but Lee might have cost himself some points unless he can get back on the track quickly. We just saw that he had to wait, so that means he's probably going to lose out on points. Here's a replay. He clipped the back of Gonzalez, and well, it looked like that Lee was being a little bit too ambitious there to get by, and as a result it's cost him there, and now he does find himself out of the points as the Costa now finds himself as Danny inside goes Ocon on Rossi, and that's P2 for the Frenchman. Up into second place goes Esteban Ocon, and now Rossi will have Marcus Ericsson behind for companies. He's also caught up to his back, and straight away Ericsson on the inside, and that's P3 for the Swede. He takes the final podium place off the American there then. So Ericsson having a fantastic race here, as now we take a look at De Costa now then, who's on the inside of Chilton. It is going to be P6 for him, as somebody's just coming to the pits there, and up into 6th place now goes De Costa, and Chilton again goes wide into that corner, and he's clipped the grass. Can he just avoid the wall? And he's going for a spin, and it's another costly error for Chilton, and this might cost him some points, and it has done. He finds himself out of the points, and James Brickles is going to be a very angry man after that race, that is for sure. After this race, I should say. Now, we take a look at, this is Thomas Gonzalez now on the back of Rossi. He's now caught up to the American. Gonzalez trying to get around the outside of him there. Isn't quite going to work for the Argentine. Is there somebody off the track? Is that Cooper Lee still? Or is that somebody else? It looks like the same car as Lee, unless he's actually out of the race. I'm not 100% sure there. But that's that really. It might be still Cooper Lee. He's probably been stuck there for a long time, it must be said. Now, we look at Gonzalez now then, on the back of Alexander Rossi. Is he going to try and take 4th place now off the American? The Argentine in the slipstream. Down the inside goes Thomas Gonzalez. Is this going to be P4 for the Argentine? Down the inside he goes. Is this going to be move done? And yes, it is. A brilliant comeback from Gonzalez, it must be said. And up into 4th place goes the Argentine. And that's so far 5 championship points going his way. Unless he has the fastest lap, of course, then he could get a bonus point. As meantime, De Costa now makes the move on Rossi. Rossi is definitely going backwards. His tyres have clearly gone off. And De Costa makes himself up into 5th place. As meantime, the 2 teammates are fighting. This is Nazar on Pick now then in the battle for 7th place. In fact, no, this is Pick on Nazar. It's the other way around, as Pick takes 7th place from his Brazilian teammate. As we look at Fabio Lima now then, who's about to start lap 37 of 39 in this feature race. So 3 laps to go. But look in the background, the win's not quite secure yet, because look, Ocon has been reeling him in these last few laps, and it's now down to 1.7 seconds. So Ocon on this stint has been absolutely flying. An unbelievable pace so far from Ocon, and in fact, he now finds himself with a chance of winning this race. And we've actually, in these final 3 laps of the feature race, have got a battle for the lead, as now Ocon, now really closing up. He's definitely closing in the corners. He's taken nearly an entire second out of Lima there in the first sector. Ocon really flying on these tyres right now. He obviously pitted a lot later than what Lima did, and it's very clear that pitting a lot later was the way to go here in Estoril, and it's definitely paid dividends for Esteban Ocon, who now finds himself all over the back of the Swiss driver now then. It's Spaniel versus Willows for the win here at the feature race of Estoril. Lima going defensive, going up the hill through this right-hander as they make their way through the final 3 corners on the racetrack. They have got a bit of traffic in front in the form of Pierre Gasly, so that might not help things. As now coming around the final corner, Ocon, this is probably now his best chance to try and grab the lead now from Fabio Lima. Coming out of the final corner onto the pit straight is Ocon, going to get the move done on Fabio Lima. Down the inside he goes. He's having a look at the Swiss driver. Is Ocon going to grab the lead from the Asia champion? Down the inside he goes, and yes he is. Esteban Ocon now takes the lead of the feature race with just 2 laps to go. The Frenchman now finds himself in the lead, and he definitely so far has made his strategy work to perfection, as now we are on the final lap of the race. And what a race it has been from Esteban Ocon. He pitted a lot later than Lima did in the feature race, and it paid off for him. The Frenchman now coming around Parabolica for the final time here, coming out of the final corner, and Esteban Ocon is going to win the feature race here at Estoril. What a result for the Frenchman. It's the first win for Willows this season, and we have had 3 different winners in the first 3 races as well. Fantastic stuff indeed. What a performance from the Frenchman in the Willows Junior Racing car. So there you have it then. Here is the result of the feature race here at Estoril. Esteban Ocon taking the win by over 4 seconds ahead of Fabio Lima in 2nd place. Marcus Ericsson gets a podium in 3rd, with Thomas Gonzalez 4th, Antonio Phillips da Costa in 5th. Alexander Rossi finishes in 6th, with Charles Pic in 7th. Max Verstappen finishes in 8th, with Felipe Nasr 9th. Stoffel Van Dorn in 10th, with Max Chilton in 11th. Teammate Benjamin Pryor in 12th. James Brickles will be very unhappy. A double points finish was gone, that was for sure, in this race. Naoki Yamamoto 13th, Nicholas Latifi 14th, Pierre Gasly 15th, Daniel Kvyat in 16th, with Will Stevens 17th, Ishuki Yoshida in 18th, a day to forget for the Japanese driver, with the 4 retirements of the race being Cooper Lay, who definitely did get beached in the end, I was right, Sergei Sirotkin, Pascal Wehrlein and Gencho Chi, the 4 drivers who retired from the feature race, with Charles Pic actually setting the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 16.932, so he will of course get the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. So meantime, we now take a look at the Drivers' Championship after the feature race here in Estoril. Thomas Gonzalez still leads, but it has been cut to just 2 points ahead of Esteban Ocon, who moves himself up into 2nd position. Fabio Lima is in 3rd, with Cooper Lee 4th. Isuki Yoshida is in 5th, 3rd to 5th, separated by just 2 points. Gencho Chi is in 6th, Marcus Ericsson 7th, Max Verstappen 8th, with Stoffel Van Dorn and Antonio Felix da Costa tied in 9th, with Alexander Rossi and Charles Pic tied for 11th, and the rest of the drivers from Gasly, Nasser, Sirotkin, Palmer, Yamamoto, Kvyat, Stevens, Latifi, Wehrlein, Chilton and now Pryor are still yet to score points this season. Obviously Palmer can't, because of course he's been sacked unless he gets hired by another team later on in the season. Meantime, in the Teams Championship, Spaniel lead by 12 points ahead of Willows, who shoot themselves up into 2nd position, with AJ down to 3rd. OLM Racing are in 4th, with Liquid Target in 5th. Shake and Bake Jr. are in 6th, with Danish and Gajera tied in 7th, with STV Racing, GOM Jr. and Horizon F2, the only teams yet to score a point this season. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for a very, very exciting feature race. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. A thoroughly entertaining race, 3 different winners. Will we have a 4th tomorrow in the sprint race? We'll find out. But until then, I've been Joseph Willows. I hope you enjoyed today's feature race, and I will see you tomorrow for the sprint race here at Estoril. Take care.